your show coming up?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? I know there's at least 2 people watching this. Can you hear my voice? Yes, no, maybe. Can you hear my voice now? Please, somebody tell me you can hear me. Okay, I guess I'm going to sit here and talk to myself because I came on 6 minutes early and it shows that I'm broadcasting. If you could let me know if you can hear me, that would be wonderful. Oh, good. And you don't hear an echo or anything because I've set up a new camera so that I have an easier and better look at the table. And I went through this YouTube tutorial, and the first time I tried it, I had this hideous echo. And this time when I set it up, it worked. So now I don't have to keep using my cell phone when I'm on StreamYard. I can use the camera I use when I use Zoom. Good. Thank you. I'm glad you can hear me. Linda. Yeah, Linda Bishop, you and I, at least we have Beto. Hi, Jack. Okay, 2 people who already came on early asked me questions, and I'm going to read them for them. And I guess I kind of knew some of you guys wanted to know something from your guides because I've had an oracle deck, and it's a Hay House oracle deck. And I got it when they were having a big Hay House sale, which they do right around Christmas. You can go get their deck sometimes for as much as more than 50% off. But this particular woman, I kind of liked her stuff. And I've never met her, don't know anything about her. I'm going to come back to my screen because then you can see what her thing looks like. Okay. It's called the Divine Energy Oracle. And her name is Sonia, Chohuettette, which I think is coquette, but I'm not sure. She may come from another place where they don't use the French sort of thing. So the first person who asked about her guides is Dana. Just wanted a message from her guides for today. And so I'm going to do her guides for today. Hi, Prince Charming's Mon. Thank you, Sharon, for being here a little bit early. I have a full load today, guys, and I have to leave at 1:55 because I have a taping at 2. We had a timing conflict. So for Dana, your guide says, live your soul, not the role. So I would take it when you get this card. I'll pull one more to see if you can. Yeah, it's telling you need to change your tracks. You need to speak more for yourself and not do what kind of other people are telling you need to do. You need to think of whose voice is telling me I don't need to live my life as I want to. Okay. And then I'm going to write your question down, Linda, and I'm not sure how many more questions, unless you put them in caps. I can't find them at all. And and I have, Kelly's not feeling well today. She's been having a little bit of a health problem. She's been working a lot. So she's not, so she won't be here to help me, which it hurts you more than it hurts me. Okay, and let's see where we're. Okay, the other guide question was for Jack. And Jack said, inspiration for the next 2 months. So let's see what cards you get to inspire you for the next 2 months. See what's going on around for Jack for the next 2 months. You got 2. I thought I picked up one card and I said, that feels a little thick. The first card I picked up was have faith. You need to have faith in the ideas you're having, your own ideas, and how they're going to work out for you. And then once you have that faith, refine your attention. So you have faith and then you think, I need to narrow it down to this or that. If you get into your own intuition, you'll know which direction to head in. So that takes care of that, I think. Let's see what else we got in here. Okay, and Linda's here, so I'm going to show this one because I could find it. Okay, we're going to do that with the pendulum, and because I have some more information about the pendulum. I got a lot of questions about it last time I read, and I'm going to show you something that comes with it. So I'm going to blow this up. I'm going to explain some things to you. This now is under a real camera, so it ought to be a little bit easier to see, and the color I know works better. But this candle that I've lit, I want everyone to put some thoughts and prayers out for Dr. Gail. She's on her way to Shasta to fulfill the mission she's been sent on by her guides and her angels. I talked to her today when she was in Nashville, driving through a rainstorm, kept her company through the rainstorm, and while she was settling her cat down. She's traveling across the country with a dog and a cat. She shipped what few things she chose to take with her to Shasta. She's starting a whole new life. So we're lit a candle for her. And I also promised her, I don't know how many of you have heard me talk about the Metatron trick, but Metatron is the archangel that's in charge of time. And Metatron will, if you have a long assignment and you think, God, I can't begin to figure out how I'm going to make this work, you call on Metatron to give you the time to complete the task. And you'll be amazed. You'll get 4 hours work done in 2 hours. I've actually done that one. The other one I did, which is my favorite one, I had to go get some medical tests when they had me on the heart monitor. And I hate lying on those tables where your body's all squished up and your arms all over your head and all that kind of crap. So before I got on the table, I said, Metatron, make this as short as you possibly can. So I was talking to the lady, got laid down on the table, kind of remember talking to her, listened to just some kind of cool jazz in the background. It was very pleasant. And she said, okay, it's time to get up. Well, it was supposed to be a 30-minute test. I said, I could not have been lying here for 30 minutes. It felt like 5 at the most, 10 minutes. I said, I must have fallen asleep. And she said, no, you talked to me the whole time. Now, it will not amaze any of you that I could have talked for half hour straight, but I was amazed. And that was calling on Metatron to help shorten that time. So what she's wanting us to do is to pray to make this drive seem as short as possible. Okay. Now, we're looking at Linda Bishop's land, and there's another person who's also in today's questions, and she wrote them in the comments, and she wanted to know about working with a board and being calibrated to work with the spiritual nature around a dowsing garden or a pendulum, or she also had some sort of spirit board she was working with. Anyway, there are 3 questions on this. If you get this from me, it says, do I have permission to dowse? Am I aligned with my higher self? And am I fully protected? So first we're going to do is, do I have permission to dowse? Yes. Okay, that's yes. Up like that's yes, and down like this is no. Across like this is no. Okay. So I have permission to dowse. Am I aligned with my higher self? Yep. I've been messing with this stuff all morning. Am I fully protected? And that's an important one when you're working with instruments like this that you don't know too well, because you're pulling energy in from outside of yourself. You want to make sure you're protected. So we're going to ask about Linda Bishop's property and her dream property. Okay. And I'll try to get a time frame for you too. Will Linda Bishop be able to get her dream property? Okay. Now I'm going to ask, will it be within a year? I think it's going to be slightly more than a year because it was slightly off of yes. So I think within a year or so, you're going to be able to get it. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I'm going to star you. Okay, and where's one? Okay. I'm going to star a couple that are in here, and then I'm going to go through the ones that I've already set up stuff for. Okay. So we talked about Dr. Gail's trip. I promised her I'd mention that first of all. And what I was going to show you about the dowsing garden, if you do your vibrations, this little thing here in the corner, in a big sheet, it looks like this. And what this shows is when you get your reading off from here to here, when you get, whether you're 100 to 1,000, this tells you the different parts of yourself that you're tuning into. And there's 11 levels here. And if you watch the show that Sheila and I did this week, it's really good. It's about the 13 dimensions of DNA. It's on Sheila's channel. It's on my channel. It's really a good show because Sheila does a wonderful job of editing. But if you're like down here in the 20s, that's like shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, courage. When you get into the 4th dimension, you're into neutrality, willingness, acceptance, and you're crossing into inner light. Then you get into inner wisdom. When you get up here, you're into inner wisdom, inner love. And when you're up here, you're into oneness and presence. And when you're up here, you're into presence, non-duality, awareness. When you're in here, you're in the great void where you can really see beyond things without things clouding your way. Then this 850 to 1,000 is divine grace, super causal truth, and full consciousness. So if you're up at like 1,000 to 1,200, you're in a state where you're, for that moment, you're open, your vibrations are open to more stuff. Over here, it's like these, from here to here on the triangle is a lower ego self. From here to here is rational, linear, emotional self. And that's kind of the self most of us have lived in. Then for here, you get into a bit of the higher self. And then from here to here is planetary self, galactic self, universal self, causal self, super causal self, and absolute self. So by that point, the ego's kind of completely gone away. But that little graph is actually on the bottom of this thing. Someone asked me, they said, what's that little triangle on the bottom of the pendulum? Now, for this lady who wanted to know about calibrating her pendulum, I hope she heard this. It's LT. You can calibrate it by, learning, making sure that you're free to read it. You can also, for me, when it swung away for me all my life, that's been yes. And when it swings this way, that's no. Now, for other people, that's not the patterns they're used to. So when they get this, if you get this kind of a grid form, you have to program yourself to it. Okay, start that one. That was one of the questions that came up. And we're going to ask for Joanna's son, and I'm going to use cards to do this because it's a little more complicated. I like pendulums because I'm not terribly fond of the cards doing yes, no's. I'm not sure that they really can. And let's see what we got there. Okay. So I'm going to read some cards, and the card I'm going to read is for Joanna, and she wanted to know if her son will find a job soon that suits his interests, passions, skills, and abilities. And you're going to notice I don't shuffle cards nearly as much as other readers do. I used to when I was younger, but I've learned that the universe is going to put them in the right order for me, so I don't worry about it. If I think something's funky, if they won't shuffle together, then I won't read that shuffle. But for the most part, this is how I work. And I also snag up my poor little table here. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is for Joanna. And the first questions I'm going to do today are the ones that were on the book comment board. Yes. Okay, it's not going to be everything he wants. Well, part of the problem is he doesn't have the education for what he wants to do. And he's going to have to invest some more in education, but he's headed in the right direction. What he wants to do is something he did in a past life. I really get that from this card. And he feels in his spirit he can do it. He may need to go get some more training. So if he wants to find that exact job, he needs to accept a job that might not be exactly the one he wants, that will give him the training, or he needs to go figure out a way to get the training. And TJ wants to know if her sciatic pain is real Or is it from being an empath? And I'm going to use the pendulum for that one. Is TJ's sciatica from her own nerves? Yes, you've got something in your body that needs to be fixed. And I'm going to also ask, just to be sure, did she pick this pain up by being too close and being too wired as an empath? No, you didn't. You didn't get it from somebody else, so it's fixable on your end only. I mean, you can figure it out. Oh, V's someone I know, and I know I'm going to play cards on this one. I should have ordered these questions better, so I didn't have to keep shifting things. But V, I know where you live, V, and she wants to think about moving to Colorado with her daughter, which she and I had discussed before, but not that she would do that, just that her daughter is in Colorado. Is V going to, is it in her best interest to move to Colorado? Okay, it's going to be totally your choice. What it shows is where you are now is not emotionally fulfilling to you, and you can't achieve the things you want to do in the physical world, but it's because you want to become more psychically involved and have better balance. And you have not made the decision yet. Normally, this card's the card of the people walking by the church and feeling rejected. But when it's upside down to me, it means that you're going to meet the people you need to meet to give you the information you need to know to make the correct decision. So this is one of those incredibly disappointing card readings where it's like, well, what are you going to do with it? You are the one who's in charge. Let me see how you really feel about moving. And I know that climate change, she's going to make a V move. So it's much more than extreme than you would think going to Colorado. She lives in a place that's very lovely and warm. Let's see. And obviously I have a prejudice towards warmth because I live in Texas. Okay. How are you about this? I think there's a big chunk of you that wants to move. You're just trying to figure out how to move and how to make it so that you're on your own. You think this place would be fair for you to live in, and you could achieve a lot of what you want in the world, but you just have to get used to the idea of breaking away from where you live now. Okay. Tammy says she has a herniated disc that's just acting up again now. Yes, that will give you sciatic pain. It really will. Next question is, Deb went to a sacred site in Kentucky, and we're going to see what you can do with the stones. They'll tell us. You went to a sacred site in Kentucky, and you're wondering about regaining the connection to the emotional energy you felt. And I know that's wonderful when you hit a place where you really feel connected, and you want to go back into that emotional peace, and it's hard to hold on to. So, okay, let's see, what did you get from? This is a spiritual stone. It's actually a tiger's eye that I had on the side, and I left the spirit stone here. So I'm going to say for true, you got spirit, and when spirit hits in true, spirit means go forward on a path of harmony. I think there's something you tend to go back to in your own mind that you think is there's one discipline you think might work better, but I'm taking these three since the body's here. That's where your heart is in this one. Your physical form, and you have to do something that's very physical. I don't think although meditation can be very physical when you get your body completely in control. But I think what I'm seeing here is what's emerging for you, and that's what this sign means: emergence. From the earth, you're getting the clarity of, you're going to have 2 or 3 paths, but one of them is going to appeal to you much more. More is being brought forward. The way I would read this is you have some skills you know how you can collapse back into, you can deal with them because you've trained yourself to be there. Your spirit says, yes, you can definitely more or less create this feeling, because now that you felt it, you understand you can feel it. Yeah, you hear bewitched. That's my notification on my phone. But what it says is your body is it's going to have to be something physical. It's going to be like swinging a pendulum, throwing stones, laying cards, something like that. Whatever one of those things you do better. And this should have been gone. Whatever you should have done that would be better would work for you. I think it's something really physical, and I think it may be almost like the pendulum, because when you see it swing, it pulls you back into that meditative state. But keep meditating too, so that can work. That's for Deb, who wanted to know about the sacred site in Kentucky. And you will be able to, you've had the connection. I'll tell you what the thing about those kind of connections. Those connections are there. So it's up to you on how you can bring it forward and continue to move it. Someone wanted to know, she lost her pendulum and she wanted to know if I could help her find it. And I'll tell you this, there are really good readers who can find things for you. I am not that reader. You said it came with a box. I've always learned that when I lose an instrument, it's because I was supposed to, so that I had to struggle and find something else another way. So I actually worked on this one a little bit this morning, BB, about losing your pendulum and your message board. And I think that I think you lost that pendulum because it wasn't the right one for you. But the other part of that is I can't help you find it, because I just don't find things. I lose things all the time. I wish I could. My daughter, however, is great at finding things. Okay, FR wants to buy a new house by fall because she needs more room for mom. We're going back to pendulum. Okay. FR, buying a house for mom. FR, buying a house so she can accommodate mom. Yes, you're going to find the right house. And let's see, because of another comment you made in your question. Will she be able to find it in time to really cover the worst of the situations that are going on with mom? No, you're going to find it. You're going to find it. It's going to be a little bit later than you thought it would be. And I don't know how you're going to accommodate your mom until you get to that point. Let's see. Will you be able to find a way to? This is a different question. Well, see if you'll be able to find a solution quickly. And it may be a secondary one and not the permanent one, because what I got there was to get exactly the right house. It's going to take a little longer, but are you going to find another way to accommodate this before you find the house? No, I think you're going to have to live in what you have or move her into that, figure another way to work that before you can move her over. But you're going to find it. You're going to find it. It's just not going to be as quickly as you thought. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to go back up through the questions and see where questions have popped up. Okay, show. I'm going to see if you should move to California. I don't want to misread it and send you to the wrong state. If you should move to California. And I'm going to do one more thing for the lady whose mom's needed guidance about her mom. I'm going to try and throw a season card. This board, you can tell it's seasons, and this is winter, summers. This is winter, spring, summer, fall. What season will they find out going on? Okay, you're going to find, like I said, you're going to find something this summer that will accommodate you, but the final move is going to be in the late fall into winter. So I don't know if that helps, but you're going to find a way to accommodate it this summer, but you won't find the really final place to winter. Now, moving to California. Okay, I'm going to turn my notifications off so that we don't keep thinking we're caught in a thing of bewitched. There it goes. Now it's just going to buzz me. Okay. Moving to California. Are we moving to California? Move to California. Moving to California. I would say that is about as big a no as I could possibly have pulled for you. That's no. Yes, but it's mostly because of the money. That's what's blocking you from moving to California. I can't help you much. That's why I hate these kinds of questions on this format, because I can't start going through states with you. But let's see if you're going to move at all. Should she be moving at all? No, you're not looking as well as where you are as you could. I don't see you moving anytime soon. I think you would like to move because there's something that makes you feel emotionally imbalanced, or it doesn't suit where you think you should be. But I don't see moving right now as a really big option for you. And Denise, Farja, please, a message from your guides. Okay. Really trying to make sure that all these cards don't fall down all over the floor. Because immediately after I'm done with you guys, I'm doing a thing on the next lunar cycle on the 30th with Adam Free, who's an astrologer. We're a really interesting time astrologically, if you don't know it. We've got a whole lot of planets that have just switched signs, which makes a whole lot of changes. And your guides are saying, claim your art. Excuse me. So whatever you're really good at or whatever you're really creative at, you need to claim that for yourself, because that's going to make you be more true to yourself. So your guides are telling you, if you've been putting off doing those projects, whether it's needlework or cooking or painting or drawing or just something you do to release your brain, go for that. So that's for her, Denise. That was your message. Like I said, I'm so much better when I have someone helping me run this. Prince Charming's mom. Oh, an emotion code training. Okay. I don't even know what that is. Is that the Marissa Peer thing? I know it starts with emotion something. Let's see if you should invest in it, if it's going to pay off for you to spend your time. And since you use the word invest, I presume it's not just time. I presume it's money. Oh, yeah, I'd say so. I say there were classes before that you passed up, and either things weren't just in the right place for you to be able to participate in it. But boy, this one is. You got the Ace of Cups right there in the middle, and you've hung around for a long time trying to make a decision about finding something to do. And this one really does suit your goals. So I'd say if you can afford it and you have the time to follow the class and learn what you need to learn, that's going to be a winner. Must come back and tell us all about it. When you finish the class, you must come on my show and tell me how it works. Oh, Cancers and Aquarians. Well, okay. Hypnicity, for that, I think I'd go get a synastry chart between the two of you, because when you're saying, and I'm not going to lay the cards on this because I really feel like this is a much more complicated question when you get into that level. I'll look and see if the business partner you're looking at should be good. But if it's not just your sun sign and it's not just your ascendant, it's your moon, it's all those pieces that make the person be who they are. And so I'd suggest you go to a good astrologer. And I'm working with Adam today. I work with Dorothy Morgan quite a bit. I like Andrew Carr, who does Astrology Alert. I think I've been talking with him. He sort of reads the charts the way I was trained to read them. I don't do charts for precisely that reason. They're too complicated. It's not where my skill is. But I will lay down for you, if you're looking at a particular person with that combo, if that's going to work out for you. But it's really complicated. And what a synastry chart is where they put two charts together, and then you see how where your strengths and your weaknesses are, and see if they complement each other, or sometimes the weakness that one of you has will just exacerbate a problem the other chart has. So it's an interesting chart to have done. It's an interesting thing to know about, but I really think you just can't take a sun sign and say, I know Goodman, when I was a young woman, said, love signs, and they tried to tell you to be with this person, that person. But I think astrology is much more complicated than that. But see, if this would be a good combination for you. Well, I would say offhand, no. So no, 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 no. And the reason is, one of you would always want to be bringing new people in the business, and the other one wants some stability. And both of you are just young enough in this business that you need to spend some time learning about it. But like I said, that's a quick 5-card read. There may be more to that person that I can't see in 5 cards. Same thing, you need to have a larger chart, not just sun signs. Yeah, you should have, Melody. Yeah, caps works for me, because when I'm going down, then I look like, okay, we can show this one, because now you can, or can you live in a camper, because you were asking about. You are in California, or should I stay in the camper? Okay. Should you stay and live in a camper? It says no, but what this card shows is you're going to move into something that's more stable than a camper. You haven't met the person you're going to work that out with yet. It's going to mean you can do it with the money you have. And there's some reason you just really want to escape and get away from where you are. But these cards would say you're not going to end up in a camper. And the most important card on here, when I have the Knight of Swords, and this is what's always meant to me, it's movement. It means moving your house or moving your office. It's someplace where you spend a great deal of time. I think you haven't met the person yet that it's going to help you figure out exactly where you should be. So thank you for your question. Oh, Okay. See if Carolyn's going to win. We're going to do this with the pendulum. Are you going to win against my manager at the EEOC? And I can't. I'm not good at doing money, Carolyn. Sorry. Wrong person. I'll just see if you're going to get as much as a good settlement. Is she going to win her case against the manager? Yes. Is she going to get close to the dollar amount that she and her attorney are seeking? No. Okay. Will she get less money? Yes. But will it be sufficient nothing's ever sufficient for the emotional strain we put up when we have a really crappy boss. Okay, but I know what we can ask. Will this be the end of that manager's reign at the company he's at? Yes, it's going to be a mark against him. You may not get all the money. I didn't feel you're getting lots less money, just not as much as people have promised, or maybe when the attorney takes his portion out. This is good morning. Okay, Kathy G. Okay, hard to pin down a state. Do you have a thought of 2 different states, please? Thank you, my friend. Okay. Trying to think how I could do that. I have kind of a fun deck. We're going to play a fun deck with your reading. I'm not making light of your reading, but I'm going to say, I'm going to try and see if I can get a north, south, east, west out of this deck. If you've never seen this is a tarot deck. It's a tarot-based deck, but it's Monopoly cards. And let's see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay, do you have in your brain, Melinda, I think you have a thought of 2 different states. Make one state 1 in your brain right now, and make the second one state 2. And I'm going to lay these cards, and I'm going to lay out 3 cards for each, and we're going to see which looks most positive. And I'll try to tell you that. And they can come out being equal. That's happened in these sorts of things before, but okay, let's see. Melinda's state 1. And state 2. State 1 is the first one we're laying out. State 2. Okay. This is the 6 of Swords. And it's based on a Monopoly name, so it's the mentally stuck way. I think this is the 8 of Swords, and that's getting out of the 8 of Swords. So I think that's a good one. And this is the 5 of Swords, 5 of Wands, which would be the conflict. So it's conflict gardens. They're both reversed. So the first state would be a good place for you to go, but you're feeling like if you go there, you don't have a lot of friends and you might feel a bit like a hermit. Now, for the second state, the name of this card is the messenger of acting first and thinking later. That's that's a Knight of Wands reversed. So it would mean that you would think the second state's the one you have to think the most about. The second state also, that's the best card you've gotten on this and which state to go to, because that's the 3 of Wands. And that's a place where you do have friends and you have the potential for some companionship when you get there. And then the Page of Wands, this is called development and new enthusiasm. So I think you've lived here in the second state you thought of. You've lived there before or lived in a place very much like it. And so you're not as enthused as you think you might be here because you think you'll be less stuck. So I would say if it was me and I knew like the whole history behind this, I'd say the second state is a better state to go to. And that's not knowing the states. That's not knowing anything else. So, I think I would seriously sit down and talk to my guides about having 6 cards decide my fate. But I think that it gave me an idea of where you could go with it. Okay, guys, we got about 10 more minutes and then I'm out of here. I read Melody of Annalie. Okay. And thanks. Questions. I have a herniated disc. Yeah, okay. Yeah, herniated discs are real pain. And I mean a real pain. So you heard I read your question, Debbie. Deb B. K. Okay. Oh, this is a simple one. Am I on the right path? Okay. Let's see. Is Kathy Brannon on the right path? Kathy Brannon on the right path. You're on the right path. Is she on the right path? Girl, are you ever? God, you couldn't have gotten a better reading for that one. It's something that grew out of something you were well accomplished at. And I think you actually kind of left that and then went into a situation where there was a lot of stress and strain. This is the Six of Swords. But she's got her new life ahead of her, so she's going to a brighter new place. So it was a tough transition from here to here. You learned a lot. You learned the lessons you needed to learn. Now you're feeling like I've been where I've been, and I need to pack up everything I've learned and move on. And I'm having the High Priestess. And when she shows up in my readings, it usually means if it's not about the person specifically, if you've been going into increasing your psychic awareness, you're absolutely on the right path. It also tells me that it's not completely done, and it's not giving me a card to say about what to do next. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. Okay, this is telling me, yes, everything in your heart's telling you to move on, but you need to wait because the other shoe hasn't dropped yet for you to know what to do. Don't move now. Your heart's not aligned right, and you're not prepared for it. So, but you've learned so much here. This is such an affirmation. This is there's 6 points on this reading. This is 1 point. This is 1 point. This is right now, so that's 2 points. This is 1 point, and this is 1 point because they're in the future. This is the past. You get 5 out of 6 that said, girl, you're on the right path. And then as if you get an affirmation, you got the High Priestess throwing herself in the middle of this. So Kathleen, you win for the brightest reading of the day. Let's see. Oh, okay. I know this because I know the story behind this one. Okay. How will an interview with the new attorney go today? And I even know what you're talking to the attorney about. So makes it easier, guys. You have no idea. Okay. Somebody said she's just bad at using caps. I know. That's why I never ask questions when I'm watching one of these. Okay. This is Carol Lamb's new attorney. Okay, he seems like a good way to get off the problems you've been going through, but I think you may need to interview another one. It's not a complete no on him. I think the money might not be what you want. And let me see about this guy. Yeah, I'm getting just not a lot of positives on this guy, but go interview him because that just, these short readings, these 5-card readings and the 3-card readings are a bubble in time. Go use your own discretion. I know you're really smart and you know what you're doing. Okay, she wasn't going to use it for state of mind, and you are. Okay, let's find out if Deb's going to find the right doctor. I'm going to lay that again because I somehow or another, there are just too many cards that look like the last ones. I may have been picking up on her still. I'm just going to switch decks because I don't think this one's doing great things for me. And that's my favorite deck, but it happens. Okay. You want to know about your Dr. Deb Heck. Yeah, he's this one kind of has a mixed record, but he's better. He's got the 10 of Cups, which means he's someone you can relate to. But is he clearly in the field of what you think you need for your health care? That's the only question. That's the question I got out of both of these. And the other problem is that you've been screwed around by so many doctors and told so many things that you're just not really sure. I think if you can come to a meeting of minds with him, if you can feel confident in it, that will help you enormously. And I know what it's like when you're out shopping for doctors. It's just about impossible. Amen. Let's see if you're going to win a bid on your house tomorrow. Oh, Deb, I know that's awful. Can your old physician suggest a new one, or you're leaving the old one because they can't fix anything? Jean, are we going to win the bid on our house? It's our second go around. I would not want to be shopping for a house in this market. I wouldn't want to shop for a house in any market. I hate moving. Okay, Jean. Yep. Death in this case doesn't mean what you think. It means change. Yep. I think you're going to get it. There's death and the card of prosperity, the 10 of Pentacles, and it's starting stable avenues. So you're moving away. Your husband doesn't like this place as much, and your moving time may be a little bit longer, but I think yes, you're going to get the bid. Or some male who's around you when you're doing this. I don't know, it could be a real estate agent. Message from your guides. Okay, those are easy because I just pulled the guide cards. Get back to me, Jean, and tell me if I'm right. I try to keep track of that. Okay, we're looking for Anita's guides. Okay, you pulled 2 cards. Okay. Reflect on what you find is true and it says to grieve your losses. So if you've been running away from something you've lost and you haven't grieved about it, you need to do that now, because that's actually the cycle we're in astrologically, is to let go of the losses, face them, and move on. So your guides are telling you, though, the first part of that was not bad at all. The reflect on your own truth, and running away from something that's hard to look at can mean we're not really being true to ourselves. Let's see what Rainbow Moonbeam's got here. Okay. I don't know if, Mariana, I don't know if that's a question. If you make it a question, I'll answer it. And that's going to be the last one I'm going to look at, because like I said, I have another taping right after this. Rainbows and Moonbeams. What a pretty name. What'd you get? Your guides tell you to make a plan and to have faith in that plan. That's the second time we've seen have faith today. And I'll tell you, when I see the same messages showing up over and over again, that tells me that that's kind of a theme for everybody who's listening to this today. But you need to make a plan. That's your guides are saying. If you're just waiting to be inspired and have it change, that's not how it's gonna work. And will I be leaving New York City in the next year? Okay. Let's see. Okay. No, you can't watch the taping, because the person I'm going to be reading with, Jean, is an astrologer and he doesn't do lives. And so I want to honor that. I mean, he'll get over it. He's just starting to get out on YouTube so. But he's good. And we're going to talk, and it'll be up it'll be up before the 30th, which is when the moon is. Okay. So the question is, will you be leaving New York in the next city? No. I see you want to leave because of a job and you want to get out of there, but this doesn't show change happening right now. But then you got the Eight of Swords. Okay, you felt stuck with this being here. I think, yes, you're going to get out. You are going to go to a different position, or your finances are going to change in a significant way. And you're getting away from a situation that you went into thinking that it was going to be much more stable than it was, and it isn't. And so, yes, you're going to be getting out in the next year. No, Andrea, I didn't see your question. Type it quickly, because I can't go back and find you. There's a ton of questions here. And this is a problem when I don't have Kelly or someone with me. If you type it really fast, then I can get back to it. I'm going back and looking. I'm not seeing it, Andrea. I'm looking. Here it is. Okay, this is not a reading question, so I'll put me in the middle here. There are times in your chart when you can leave. And is it negotiable? It's negotiable in as much as you can sort of make that time or not. But I'll tell you, I had a friend who okay, I'll remember that, Helene. Okay. he thought he was 16 years old. He was a dumb kid. He's now in his late 60s. He was sitting in a parked car smoking dope with some kids up in the north. It was in the winter. So, of course, when you're smoking dope in a car and the windows are also so sealed up, the windows get all foggy. Anyway, they decided they needed to take off and go home. He pulled out into the road and he saw a car that was coming around, and it to avoid hitting them in their car, he swerved off the road, and my friend thought he'd seen the guy hit a tree. So he was sure he'd killed the guy. So he told his friends, we got to stop. And they said, no, go on. They're going to bust us for having dope. So, and this was in the 60s, and he's right. They would have been busted for having dope. So he drove on, and for the rest of his life, it has haunted him that he killed this man. And when his life would get to a point where he was feeling good about things, he'd go back into the whole things of you were a dumb 16-year-old kid and you killed a guy. Now, he had actually, the reason I found out about it was I knew how to talk to police about doing certain kinds of research. And we went back in the town records and they couldn't find an accident around the date that he remembered it happening. Anyway, finally he went to a friend of mine who's a psychic who can help you get rid of attachments and things that have long been in your body. And she read him as a favor to me because she didn't really feel it was going to be that he'd really killed the guy. But she said, I'll talk to him, see if I can help him settle it out. The bottom line was when she went into the thing to help him heal, the man who died in that car accident showed up. And the man told her that since he was 16, he'd been trying to reach out to this guy and say, you did not kill me. It was a day when I could get out and I swerved my car. Your car was just a convenient ruse for doing it. But he was miserable and he wanted out of his life, so he bowed out of his life. It wasn't really a suicide as such, but and my friend who's a psychic had never had the other side come in. So my friend that she was talking to, he said, well, how do I know, you're not just saying this? So the guy told her the car tag and the make of the car and the color. And I talked to my friend and he said that the guy said, please go on with your own life. Don't sit in this. This is wrong. And so he has, in the last 6 months, changed completely. He says he sings in the shower. I don't know what he tells me, that he feels so much better, that things are moving along. He's doing some rearranging in his life. He was in a bit of a career shift anyway, and that's all going along. So, and if you want to know if it's negotiable, I don't know how that guy knew I can hit the tree today and it's a good day to get out, or if he learned that when he got to the other side. I can tell you the reader who did this reading for me called me. She'd gotten permission from my friend. She called me right away and said, this was the most amazing reading I've ever done. It gave me a completely different insight and crossing over. So on that, I will tell you, I do think there are exit points on our charts and we can do it. And the woman who taught me astrology always said that was true. So, but I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up today. And yeah, Andre, I'm glad you made me go back and find that question because it was a good one. And I am not sure. I'm going to have a big announcement on the 31st of May about some things going on in my channel and with the garden and with some other stuff. I'm going to be with Scott on Sunday. I'll probably have this tape up with Andy on over the weekend. Maybe the first of the week, maybe the day of the full moon. I'm not sure. But because tech support's going out of town to help his older brother move back to Austin. Yay, he's moving back to Austin. And he's got a full-time job and everything. It's just wonderful. So I'm going to end the broadcast now. Y'all have a great day and have a great weekend. And I will look forward to seeing you next week.